I made a Hardgroove track. It is the first part, which is the kick. Very basic. And then for the saturation, just put a little bit of that in there for some extra punch. And then I just chuck some EQ on it, put the low cut filter at 35, boost it a little bit here around this 200-300 region, so I put it at 240 by like half a dB, 1 dB, and then lowered this quite a bit. That's mainly just because I didn't really like the clickiness of the kick at the top. There you go. And then I put a open hat, shorten the sample. Again, I don't want to open up the sampler because I'll just have to go over it every time. Put some bit crusher on it for some crunchiness. So I just downsampled this one actually quite a lot. Kept the resolution as is, kept the drive as is in the stock plugin, and then just lowered the mix quite a bit because you can hear it's quite intense like that. So I lowered it. There you go. You can see right here, I did what I did in a lot of my hat loops here, which is sort of this up and down wavy movement. And then right at the end here, so I did this 4 pattern with it going up and down, just you can see down here visually. And then I skipped the first beat and then did the same. And then I went back to the original pattern. And right at the end here, I put this little quadruple note, which I thought was quite nice. And I just lowered the velocity as each note went on. And this is what it all sounds like together. Nice rhythm there. And then the clap. Shorten the sample. Again, all these samples are pretty much just from Splice. And then you know what, let's move on to these loops, which are a part of my first sample pack. You can get them in my Patreon. I'm gonna put them up as you can get them for the lowest Patreon tier, and it's just a bit of support for me just to keep making these videos. But also you're getting 5 really good Hardgroove top loops that aren't necessarily only used in Hardgroove. You can use them in pretty much any techno. So that's one of the loops, and you can hear that you can see right here I've put nothing on them. They're all already 100% processed. All you need to do is just adjust the volume. You can see I've literally done nothing to them. I just changed the volumes. And then over here, again, gonna plug this again. On the Patreon, literally $1 to get these. And then I just added a ride here. Straight stock, just search up ride 909 kit, whatever you want, and you'll see right here, it says ride. And I put some bit crusher on. This is pretty much the only effect I changed up. Put the resolution 11, sounds incredible already. And here we go with the bass. So I'll start with the pattern here, which is very simple. That's literally all it is right there. That's it. That's the entire pattern right there. And that's pretty much it. I didn't do too much to it. You can hear. So low cut here at 50, high cut here at 350, and just boosted this 100 Hertz region by 2 dB. Sounds great. Then we'll move on to this little stab I've got here. So again, straight into a sampler, put OTT on it. I've got myself a little stab preset, which keeps a depth around 50, time around 50. And for this one, usually I have the highs quite high up, but the highs are not my favorite. So I just brought them down. Then I put some reverb on it. And then I put a delay on it, which pretty much is standard Baby Comeback preset. I just changed it to analog here. Didn't mess with these at all, but I messed with the wet out, put it around 40. And then I put a channel EQ on it. And then for the next part here, and for the pattern as well, that's it, very simple. And then as a call and response sort of thing, I put in this little hit, which came off Splice. I put in, again, the stab preset, except up the depth, nothing else has changed. Up 2. And then I put some saturation for some extra punch, just so that it comes through the mix a bit better. And then I put a reverb on it at 0.60, -21. Again, same sort of things for all of my stabs and dub elements, where I use baby comeback, OTT, saturation, and reverb, and an EQ. You can see it carries itself out all the way to the next note. And then I just put an EQ on it. And then, again, this is almost the exact same preset as this one. This is a super dubby sound. Put it in tune with the rest of the song, of course. Stab OTT preset. So yeah, this is the stock preset that I use. Saturation, again, I think I copied this exact same one. And then Tull reverb, 60, -21, just to make it a bit more roomy. And you can see it just carries itself through all the way to the next one. Yeah, that's really nice. And then I put an EQ on it just to cut out this. There's a little clicky sound, if you can hear. So I want to get rid of that. Just high past it quite a bit. But it's also quite nice having a bit more of a thin sound that blends into the mix very well. So it's just a little, like a yup. So that's what it sounds like without anything. And I'm pretty sure, again, I just copied over this exact preset. And I use this rhythm here. It's one on the kick, one on one beat before the kick, and then 2 repeated ones over here in the middle of this bar.
Running like Usain Bolt.
So this is just a little vocal sample. So I'll copy this one out for you and just show you what I did to it. So that's the original sample, and I essentially just did this. Chop. And chop.
Running like Usain Bolt. Dropping like Geronimo, popping Tropican flow.
So yeah, I just do a little bit of chopping, and I usually use 1 bar loop to end off a phrase. So let's say I'm bringing something in.
Running like Usain Bolt.
I'll just show you how I used it here. So it's a little bit of an intro. It's a nice little like fill. It's quite a predominant sample, and it's very loud in the mix, so I've transposed it down by 1 because I thought the tone of his voice was quite high, and I think this is quite a mellowed out sort of mix. You can hear it's quite dark, like that sort of vibe. So I transposed it down, and then I put an EQ on it here just to get rid of some of those highs, and made sure that the low part of the sample wasn't clashing.
Boats till we bubble up, undercover, they don't know, running like Usain Bolt.
And you can hear it just blends it in with the mix really, really well.
Running like Usain Bolt.
And there you have it. And I think it's pretty much got the same basic elements in terms of the drums. They're very similar to how you would do any Hardgroove drum sort of pattern. And same with the bass here, this is very similar. But the main thing are these sounds down here. You can hear it's quite dubby, and these stabs, this stab in particular gives me very dub vibes. Which really make it that sort of dub vibe. And once again, $1 for 5 top loops that you can layer And yeah, they're on my Patreon. Link should be on my YouTube, in the description of my YouTube videos. Yeah, hope you guys learned something, and I'll